Hey, this is Arthur and welcome to the root cause video number 3 about, well, why sometimes you become an underachiever as a leader or a manager. Now, let's say that you are a leader or a manager, all right? And sometimes you've gone through all these leadership trainings and maybe you've read some books, and you've got some great insights, you've got some great ideas, and more importantly, you've got a great attitude because you want to be a better leader, a better manager. You want to help people to succeed. And so you go out and you practice all this stuff and it doesn't quite work. And you're wondering, well, why? All these gurus are saying, hey, it should work and you should have this and all these things. Well, but it's not working. So what I'm going to share with you here is, well, one of the potential reasons, root causes of why essentially you, with all the skills and power and ability, become an underachiever. So let's look at scenario number 1. You have read something about being a good leader, and let's say that says that you should be supportive. So, as a good leader, you go out and you do everything in your power to be supportive. And the results essentially backfire. And you're thinking, man, what is wrong with this? I'm like being supportive, and you're feeling good about trying to support your people. But here's the thing. See, you, from your perspective, from your version of the world, believe in your whole heart that you are being supportive, while everybody else thinks you're being a control freak. And they don't tell you because you are the manager, the leader. So then you keep doing what you think is right and they don't give you the feedback. So you keep doing the same thing over and over again, thinking you're doing a good thing and you're not getting the results. Okay, so scenario number 2. Okay, you have the right attitude and you have the right desire to support your people, but for some reason the culture isn't really supporting the safety for those people to, well, basically do or react in a positive way to what you're doing. Okay, and again, they may interpret what you're doing in the scope of what the culture is and may not feel safe enough to be able to communicate with you and essentially tell you what kind of things you should be changing in order to really be able to achieve the results that you want to achieve and to be aligned with the attitude and idea of what you want to be as a leader. So here's the thing. This is called a perception gap. You think you're doing something and you're trying to do it well, and either the other people or the culture doesn't really kind of get the same thing. So there's a misalignment there. There is a perception gap. What you see is not what other people see. So now that creates a situation where, well, basically you, with the potential of creating greatness, are essentially underachieving. So what's the solution? Are you ready for it? The management mirror. So this is one of the DC psychology tools in the DC arsenal. Now, of course, as a DC certified trainer, people that understand the emotional drive model can essentially interpret and essentially realign or help people to realign in such a way where when you have the right attitude, sometimes you have the wrong strategy. And the tool basically tells you where the perception gaps are. And it tells you where the perception gaps are at different levels. So for example, you may have a perception gap between you and the management. You may have a perception gap between you and your peers, or you may have a perception gap between you and your subordinates. Or you may have a universal perception gap with everybody. And those are the key ones that are going to make a huge impact in your success as a leader or a manager. And then all the other ones, well, basically can kind of like add on to the awesomeness. So, first of all, understanding the emotional drive model. The emotional drive model, part of the DC psychology arsenal, is essentially why you do everything. Now, of course, why we do things does change. It does evolve as we go in different directions in life. But ultimately, those emotions are being filled on a regular basis or not being filled. In some cases, they're what we call need sucked from people. That means that when you have the desire to have an emotion, but somehow that emotion that you want, that gratification is taken away from you, okay? People react to that, but they don't necessarily tell you about it. So that means that you may be accidentally need-sucking people. You may be doing something that is accidentally taking away some of their emotional gratifications without even realizing it because of these perception gaps. And this tool gives you the idea of the perception gaps, an understanding of emotional drives. As a DC certified consultant or trainer, is also going to give you a complete predictability model where you would be able to see who is going to be able to perform better and how, as a leader, you'll be able to create environments where essentially your attitude is in line with your strategy, and you'll be able to actually get the results that you should be getting as an achiever rather than an underachiever. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea. You can check out the management mirror at emotionaldrive.net. And that'll give you a little bit of insights on that. And of course, remember, if you want to get certified as a directive communication psychology trainer, right now we're giving some really cool deals, which you should check out at the link below. This is Arthur Carmazzi, wishing you great success.